Oh, hello. Here's my bag. There you go. Now you can't see it. So I was looking at the cards I have. I was like, I want to go live. And I saw the Earth, no, Mystical Shaman Oracles and the Enchanted Map Oracle. And I wanted to use them together. And when I was booting up my PC, the little background image that Windows have, it was a bridge. And I was like, oh, I've seen a bridge like this on a background before. I used to see it a few times. But that one was done in the winter time. This one was in the spring, or it was green. The other one was like ice and snow. And so that's weird. I almost had a memory. I was like, I feel like I thought about this. I don't know. Anyway, it was an energy of something thawing because, one was in the ice and the other one wasn't. But when I went to go look at the name of the place, it was the Devil's Bridge in Cromlau, Germany, or something like that. I was like, oh, goodness. I guess people do say new levels, new devils, but maybe that's just because even as we do all that we do, we're still going to encounter some form of challenge in the world in some way, even if in a different way. And so it's not that we're never truly free. It's just, um, it's not out of the pot and into the fire, but it's like you leave one box and you find yourself in a bigger box that then you escape. And it's a series of continual openings until you find where you're comfortable. Hey, Starborn Bird, how are you doing? Oh, it's kind of dark. I'm gonna take the lampshade off of the lamp and try not to have my telescope like fall on the camera. Woo! There we go. Make some things better, other things. Well, yeah, that's better. I don't even know. I'm glad to hear it. I'm doing pretty good as well. I had to take vacation. I used my little float holiday. I'm taking tomorrow off so I can rest. Because I feel like because I haven't been as good as a student as I was that one week, I've been having to do homework and other things on the weekend. And so I feel like I don't really get my days off. So I took tomorrow off and I'm like, I'm just gonna rest. I'm gonna chill. Oh, I saw the arrow in the mountain at the cut, and now the holy mountain is at the bottom of the deck. Is there just a regular mountain? Because maybe it was the holy mountain both times, but I just saw the mountain. There's a holy mountain. No, there's no regular mountain. Okay. You had homework this weekend too? Yeah, homework sucks. I was like, why did I volunteer? Like I spent so long at school. Why did I choose more? Although I do enjoy a lot when I'm learning. It's just like I wish I could learn and not have to do homework. Like exams, I can do quizzes, I can do tests, I can do projects, or but I can do homework. It's just like I don't know why, but it's not as bad when I don't wait until the last minute. So, oh, I was gonna finish watching that video. I was thinking about the Queen of Wands yesterday. I was thinking about the Queen of Wands that came out in the little before and after Scorpio season reading that I did when I went on that whole tangent about indirect value statements and that energy of because you honor you, we honor you. And I guess ultimately it's that thing of like whenever we accept something, that's us saying that it's acceptable. And sometimes we get what is acceptable. So even if we don't like like where we are, or we don't like how things are playing out, if we continue to accept it, then we'll continue to get it in as flexible a way as possible. And it goes back to that energy of self honoring choices. And sometimes doing the difficult thing in the moment, sometimes like putting yourself in a position that doesn't feel the best to honor yourself, right? Which could be a number of things. One would be, and this the easiest situation is like breaking up with somebody or no longer associating with people who make you feel worse or who put you down, even if it means like being alone for some time. And it's like sometimes I think we fear being alone so much that that's why we stay in situations long past our time. And sometimes we'll stay in a situation until another one presents itself. A lot of times it seems that we'll stay in a situation until another one presents itself, but sometimes it is a little bit of, yeah, standstill. Who are you? Oh, the moon in reverse. Stand still with the moon in reverse. Like this is that energy of waiting, but sometimes that void period creates the space for the thing to come into. And while we're still holding on to something, we can't get what we want because there's not a vacancy there for it. Hey, Eve. I watched that Taurus video. It's been out for a few days. So if you haven't watched the Taurus video at Everlong Mystic to discover whether or not they get tricked or treated, then don't listen to what I'm about to say. But I knew Taurus. I just had a feeling. I had a feeling. Something told me Taurus is going to get the trick. And then I left that comment. I was like, I almost feel like Taurus is going to get the trick. And then I watched it and Taurus got the trick. I was like, okay. But Pisces got treated. So, I guess 2 treats would have been a bit much. And I cut my nail, so I can't even click clack like I used to. I love click clacking. And just like tapping stuff with my nail. Right? Sometimes no response is a response. I had a feeling that Pisces was going to get the treat, though. And I was right. As soon as you were like, oh, and if you get the star, then you get a whole new reading with the fairies. I could feel the fairies pulling at Pisces. I was like, oh, Pisces is going to get the treat. Hey, Zippy. What does it? Yeah, Zippy. Virgo got a treat. Hey, treats for the Pisces Virgo axis. Love that. Treats for Virgo, treats for Pisces. My coworker is a Pisces. I was trying to guess. And I feel like because the way that she talks sometimes, she read a little Aries, but the way that she like behaved, I was like, no, that's not Aries. And then I was thinking, I was like, what is it? I don't think I pegged at first. I actually thought she was a Pisces because there was someone else who had a Pisces tattoo. And she also has a tattoo. So I just saw it as the same. I was like, oh, she's a Pisces too. Cute. And then like that's when I first saw her. So maybe she has a well, no, because she is a Pisces. Ooh, to be a Pisces and a Pisces rising? I don't know. You're an Aries? Nice. I was like, oh, she a little fiery. But then I discovered that she's a Pisces. So she's a Pisces, I'm a Pisces, and our coworker is an Aquarius, but she's a Feb Aquarius. So we got two Pisces and an Aquarius. And after she told me she was a Pisces, I was like, oh, okay, now I see it. Because I feel like Pisces, honestly, I feel like if Gemini wasn't in the zodiac, people would call Pisces crazy. Because, I mean, Gemini is like the twins, Pisces is two fish. And you got the nice fish and you got the other fish. And yeah, because I know I saw a bit of Corey's video, Founders of Light, when he was like, oh, Pisces can be some savages. I'm like, pretty much every Pisces I know, they have that really like sweet, emotional, caring side that they're like known for. But like if you get a Pisces mad, like they'll snap real quick. And like they can compete with the best of them. But people just don't expect it. And it's like, yeah, it's two fish though. Don't think because you see one fish, you know me. Because you'll find out real quick. I'm just playing. The other fish. What? No! Call me out. Call me out. Oh, man. Reem. Hey. Hey, Reem. You have an Aries sister and two Cancer sisters, and you're a Virgo. Oof, that's a lot of cardinal energy. How you doing, Reem? So when I was talking about how Pisces would be called the crazy one if we didn't have Gemini, oh, they're both the number two. Balancing Act came out. When I was like, just because you see one fish, don't think you know me because it got a whole nother. And it's like, okay, calm down. Bring it into balance. And then it came out with the flying card, actually. Balancing act and flying, and then the bottom of the deck is movement. This makes me think of it makes me think of Hod and Netza, the eighth and the ninth, the legs of the tree of life, the eighth and the ninth Sephiroth or Sephiroth and the Kabbalah. And it's like to move forward, there's this like it's like a give and take energy when we walk somewhere, right? Like you step down with one foot, you let the other foot up, and then you step that foot down, and then it's like this, you know. We'll change them after Halloween. You should do like put little yellow eyes on it for a cat. I would paint my nails, but I don't know if some of the chemicals would like have it run off, and then I don't want to contaminate anything. So I just read that you can wear jewelry in the lab, so let me give me some little earrings. I've been feeling so suppressed without my earrings. I express myself through my earlobes. Ain't nobody tell those people hello. Starbucks act like they don't know how to get my order right anymore, though. Anyway, this is interesting, though. This is interesting because we're not walking, we're flying. And so, because we're flying instead of walking, the balancing act is different. And I've never flown before personally, so I wouldn't even know what to say the balancing act for flying is. Because you would think with flying, it's a certain element of like buoyancy. And that takes me back to the when we ground things within ourselves. I was also thinking about that. The Empress, the Mother, the Dream Carrier. And it's that energy of like holding on to something regardless of what occurs in the physical. It's like holding on to an idea regardless of what happens in your life. But you don't hold on to the idea so strongly that it doesn't take in what is happening. So it's almost like holding on to the outcome, holding on to like the expectation of the outcome, but letting go of the journey in between. And of course, it's like in balance, right? One time Starbucks put your name down as Heath. Oh, because you said Eve and they heard Heath. I was like, do I look like a Heath? Do you like those Heath bars? I don't think I do, but oh my gosh, I was singing Defying Gravity earlier today. Look at her, she's wicked. No one mourns the wicked. That Defying Gravity, the whole I haven't seen Wicked, but the I've listened to Defying Gravity, and the premise of it is wild to me because it's Elphaba and Glinda, right? And Elphaba is the one that becomes the Wicked Witch, and Glinda is the one that's the Good Witch. And Glinda is like, well, you can go kiss butt, like you can still go to the wizard, you can still get what you want. And Elphaba's like, no, hello, I'd rather fly than go and kiss somebody else's butt. And then you find out in the Wizard of Oz that the wizard isn't even a wizard. He's just some dude from like Kentucky or Kansas who had a hot air balloon that went way too far. And it's like, so in all of Wicked, they kissing butt, they're making sacrifices to appease the wizard, and then later you find out that the wizard is just some guy behind the curtain. And it's like, oof. I don't know how much mouthwash is gonna get the taste of that out of your mouth. Sorry. Balancing act. Balancing act. I've noticed, see, there's a part of me that's like, I am who I am, and it is what it is. As I open myself up to love and up to Venus, all the other side comes out too. And it's about balance. But anyway, I was thinking about Defying Gravity earlier. That song popped into my mind. Another thing that I like about flying is that it removes the complexities of some kind of situation. Because, like, this is a hedge maze down here. But instead of going through the hedge maze, this card is flying over it. And 20 is the number of judgment. So we have an energy of judgment, we have an energy of justice or strength. It can be strength and judgment, or it can be justice and judgment. But I feel like it's both and judgment. Magic number 33. Okay. Ooh, what you making? English toffee. So you do like Heath bars? I don't know how I feel about toffee. Last time I tried it was a while ago. And I think I thought it was like it was gonna be like a Hershey's milk chocolate. So it was just the expectation that ruined it for me. So maybe that's another thing too. Expectations and ruining things. I feel like it's a balancing act between desire and expectation and outcomes. And nobody in all of Oz, no wizard that there is or was, is ever going to bring me down. Look at her, she's wicked. Get her! No one mourns the wicked. See, they're doing the bidding of the wizard. No one's gonna mourn her. Ain't nobody gonna care if she gone. And then you find out that the wizard is just some dude behind the curtain. Oof. You can still be with the wizard. What you've worked and waited for. You can have all you ever wanted. But I don't want it. No. I can't want it anymore. Something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I can't keep playing by the rules of someone else's game. Oh, I love that song. But I ain't trying to get flagged for copyright. I obviously don't own the rights. Not obviously, because I could secretly own the rights to Defying Gravity and Wicked or whatever, but I don't. Too long I've been afraid of losing love. I guess I've lost. Yeah, I could imagine that. One time I had a feeling and I was eating jujubes that were like old. And I bit down into the jujube and then I was chewing it, right? I bit down. Speaking of walking, I bit down and when I raised my mouth because I was chewing it, it pulled it pulled the whole filling out of my tooth. It just pulled the whole thing out. I was like, "Oh my gosh." And it wasn't the first one I ate either. It was still pretty new though. We have the number 11 again. This this is number 27. The bottom of the deck over here is number 28. I don't I don't think I know what to make of this. Yeah, I was like, "Oh my gosh. Hey Kristen." I was just minding my business, eating some jujubes and then boop, it just popped right out. I was like, "Oh my gosh." So the cards that came out, maybe I should put it this way because it's the hunter, the council, and the arrow. The hunter, the council, and the arrow. It's like, is somebody hunting the council right now? Is this hunter hired by the council? Like, what? Is somebody trying to clip wings or something? What is happening? And this is a 10. The council is 11. This is a 9. Sorry. It's a 9. 27 is a 9, not a 10. Calm down. Oof. I got to go to the restroom. Hey, Melissa. Oh, thanks, Melissa. That's sweet. I've been really singy. Possibly Kristen. I'm not sure. Honestly, I've been like, well, Ring did Taurus recently. I watched that, but like, I didn't go back and watch the live yet, and I missed. I needed to watch the end of the year, our new year, planning for the new year video, because I was like, Ring was like, "Hey, how are you doing?" I was like, "Girl, like this is what I'm going through right now. This is like what's on my mind." She's like, "Oh my gosh, I literally just read this." And she sent me the clip of the video. And I was like, "What?" But for some reason I thought it was in the tourist video. And my time management skills need to be better because I'm just like oh, but that's what vacation days are for. That's what a US float holiday. Tomorrow, so I asked my coworker, she said the float holiday is for your birthday, but my birthday already passed this year. So I use my float holiday tomorrow. So tomorrow's my float birthday. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I should have saved it for November 4th because that's like my new birthday. But I didn't think about it until after I took the time. So, that didn't happen. But anyway, yeah, I'm like, what? Like there are so many videos. I need to use my watch later. I like add to the watch later list so I remember what it is that I want to watch. I'm just like, oh, like I'm subscribed. I'll just scroll down my subscriptions and I'll find it. Or I'll check my notifications and I'll see it. But then like it'll be a day later or 2 days later. And I'm like, okay, well. I was like, what was I gonna watch? I feel like I was gonna watch something when I have the time, and I'm like, I can't remember what it was. Thank you. Thanks, Kristen. I was talking to my mom on the way back. I was like, I'm gonna go get a birthday cake. You're gonna sing happy birthday to me. She was like, we are not gonna sing happy birthday to you. Oh, these actually remind me of a dream I've had once that was not the best. So what I'm gonna do is, since this came out 411, I'm actually gonna look before and after number 20. I don't even know what 20 is, but since this set the pendulum scales, I'm gonna synchro summon. Oh, it's literally right here. 20 is flow, and I just saw flow at the bottom of the deck before um, when I was shuffling. Like it was just sitting at the bottom of the deck. Interesting. So around flow, it's the Earth Keeper and the Beauty Way. The Earth Keeper and the Beauty. So we have flow and flying as the 220s. And there was that energy of like being above the hedge maze, right? And flow is giving us the Earth Keeper and Beauty Way. So this is gorgeous. But it's this energy, the hunter and the arrow aimed at the council, that's weird. Or it's a question mark. I'm like, what's that about? This is not what I wanted. I'm gonna have to go to the restroom. You never go back to your watch later, so you started letting the video play for 5 seconds or so. So it will show up on continue watching. Yeah. I do that sometimes too. Like if like I'll do that. Like I'll play it for a little bit and then I'll be like or I'll like it, which like I mean, if it's not somebody that I regularly watch, I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt to like a video. Um or like I'll like it so it'll be in my liked videos. Cause sometimes like I've saved on the app, I've saved a video to my watch later playlist and it won't show up. I'm like, what? I put like 5 videos in here and they're gone. So that's why I started like watching 15 seconds. But I'm gonna be right back. I gotta go to the restroom. So I was in the restroom and I got an epiphany. I think I know what this is. I actually didn't get it until after I walked out of the restroom, which is weird because usually I get it when I walk in. But anyway, what? Really, Krista? I've been like, I've been lagging. Oh, I have them all the time. I think it's because when I was little and I had my Game Boy Color, if there was a really hard level on Mario that I could not beat, the bathroom was one of the quietest places. So I would go into the bathroom and play it until I beat it. And so now my brain has just associated the restroom with solving things. I don't know. Man, I should train myself in other cool ways. You get yours washing dishes. Ooh. Like when the mind will just wander. So I think what this is, and I think I was talking about it, or I guess I thought it. I don't remember if I said it or if I thought it, or if me thinking the thought now makes me think that I thought the thought before. But there's something with the hunter and the arrow. With the hunter pointing its arrow at the council. Maybe it's when I was talking about walking and flying. Maybe not. Maybe it was a thought. I'll just say it. There's this energy where the hunter is so focused on the council, the arrow is so narrow that it doesn't see anything else. What it doesn't see is this. And it's like it's literally in the vicinity of the council. But the hunter is so like hawk eye focused, so like tunnel vision focused that it doesn't even notice this, which is why this energy comes out around flow. That's when I was talking about the expectation, how we hold an expectation, but how it's a balancing act. Because here's the actual fulfillment of the thing coming out under flying, above the hedge maze, above the house and the all of that stuff, above the actual happenings on the earth. And I think that's what this is. It's like we go to the council for something, and then a way opens up or something else happens, but it's not, it's like it doesn't play out in the way that we think it would play out. So we don't recognize it happening when it's happening. And I actually had to do this myself not too long ago. And this was the white world bridger lesson that I learned from Russell last year. Or this is what it built up to. And then, well, it's a part of that lesson that I learned from us last year. Is to not be so focused on how things are playing out, because sometimes it's working out for you and you don't even know. That's what this is. And that's why movement is going in one direction and flying is going in another. Or they're meeting each other here. I guess that's how they meet each other. Because this is almost the space of like everything that we don't know, all the things that are up in the air, transpiring outside of our own hedge maze of a life. This is us navigating our hedge maze with the eye up to the sky. Oh my gosh, it's the balloon. That's the hot air balloon that shows us where the things are that we can't see. Oh my gosh, I was just talking about the wizard. The wizard is just some dude on a balloon. This horse is truly magical. Like Alphaba was truly magical. Glinda, truly magical. They had magic. The wizard had a hot air balloon, which harnesses natural forces in a way. Well, you harness the force of fire to like fill it up, and then you cooperate with the force of air to sort of get where you're going. It's my floating birthday. Right, this is my floating birthday. Like, you know what? You've been moving a lot lately. Take a day off. How about you take a load off? There's been a lot of messaging to the effect that there are opportunities you're missing because you're too determined to follow a plan you've made. Yeah, it's very that energy. Because I was like, why are they like. Because at first, because like this is at the bottom of the deck, I was seeing it like this. I was like, why are they moving in different directions? But when I picked it up, they're facing each other. There is something. It feels like it's a little bit between winter and spring. Because these white flowers, these are giving me winter flower vibes, and then the pink ones are giving me spring vibes. That's what this is. And it's like we try to be really, really, really good at using spirit or approaching spirit in certain ways to get certain things. But it's almost like the door is just opening. And so it's like instead of going into the grocery store, well, maybe it's not the best analogy, but instead of going into the grocery store and buying the one thing that you need, it's like if you browse around a little bit, maybe you'll see other things that you need so that you don't go home And then you're like, oh crap, like I also need this. And I almost got it when I was at the store. This is what I use. I'm petty. Sometimes I can be. I know that my friends know that. My closer friends sometimes tease me about it. I have been called petty Pat by like one person. I can be petty. And so we would get sent to the grocery store and we would have the list. We had the list. And my brother was like, oh, like we also need that. He was like, we need this too. And I was like, well, it's not on the list I got. So so don't be like me. In that way. Don't be like me. Because it was something needed. And just because it wasn't on my list didn't mean it wasn't needed. And then we have to make another trip to the grocery store. And it's like not that close. And maybe that's what this blooming is. Is this a chrysanthemum? Is this the November flower? If this is a chrysanthemum, that'd be like mega cute. Because the reads on Miss Remy Healings, the flower for November is a chrysanthemum. Lifting yourself above the maze so you can see down into the path is your imagery for the 5D shift. Ooh. I don't even think I want to see my path though. I'm just like, I want to live life and experience it. I want to find out. Because I think for a time, I was really quick to get to a certain destination. And like all I wanted was what I wanted. And now, because I'm so much less restricted in my life by my eyesight and by my own fears, worries, and anxieties, like I've experienced things that I never would have allowed myself to experience. And so now I'm like, well, maybe I don't want what I used to want when everything was more narrow. Or maybe I still want it, but I want to explore other things first. I don't know. And so I'll keep my little lantern, my little hermit lantern. I can see far enough, but I don't need to like see everything. I don't know. We got one for the chrysanthemum, one for the water lily. The book might tell me actually. Let's see. This is number 4. The Beauty Way. It doesn't say. But it does say the beauty way is both a path that you travel on and a daily practice. The path is where you choose to perceive only beauty before you, behind you, and all around you as you journey through life. The practice is where you take action to bring beauty to every situation you are in. When things get ugly, you act to bring integrity and peace to the difficult encounter. When everyone else perceives only darkness, you point out the light and help uncover the hidden treasures. The treasures card came out recently. It was like my one card in the morning. I think it was protecting treasure that came out in the mystical and the enchanted map oracle card. Oof, the medicine. Stop trying to fix relationships that you believe are broken. Recognize that things are exactly as they need to be in this moment and acknowledge the inherent beauty in that. When you understand this, you will be able to bring about the change you want. Do not engage in gossip about the darkness and flaws of others. Be careful not to be seduced by the superficial beauty of a project or relationship you are toying with, unless you are willing to pay a price for it later. That came up. Something about relationships and how sometimes we keep ourselves. Oh, that's the self honoring choices and decisions, even if it means being alone. Maybe sometimes it's better to just go ahead and be alone rather than to be in a place that is everything but beautiful. Curse of the Golden Flower. Way really good movie. I just renewed my Crunchyroll subscription, so I've been watching a lot of anime. I was gonna say, oh, maybe I'll watch that tomorrow. Pink Water Lily. Yeah, it does look like this. And it's on the water, so that makes sense. So that's what this is. So balancing act is about managing expectations, reality, and the journey of the expectation becoming reality. And maybe sometimes somewhere along the way with the message about relationships, like, right, maybe it's like somewhere along the way when we realize and recognize that what we thought we wanted, where it was that we were going, maybe it's better to not, for whatever reason, and to open ourselves up to more and then to be met with more. Okay. Yeah, at first I was like the hunter, the council, the arrow. What? Who going after the council? What they do? Self honoring choices and decisions. Fly. Like Alphaba said, but I don't want it. No. I can't want it anymore. Something has changed within me. Something is not the same. Um, no mud, no lotus is what they say. And then Kuan Yin's mantra is the jewel is in the lotus. So to get the jewel, you got to get the lotus, and to get the lotus, you got to get in the mud. Oh, money, Padme. Om. Woo, my third eye, a little tingly. Sorry. Om, money, Padme. Om. Where my best friend at? I feel like ever since we started work, I like never talked to her. Oof. The podcast is on hiatus for the time being. We didn't announce it, but it is because life. I barely even get to talk to her. Just almost lost a fifth of my deck. It was about to fall on the floor. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Wait. Stuck in the mud. No mud, no lotus. And the jewel is in the lotus. So the jewel is in the mud, but you're not going to find it in the mud. You know what I mean? Just like you probably aren't going to find random pearls floating in the ocean because they're inside the oysters. Now, I ain't telling somebody to go out and start like breaking oysters open. Stuck in the mud. And the bottom of the deck is listening. So shout out to Lord Ganesha. Elephants have been a thing for the past few days. So I always give a shout out to Lord Ganesha. Oh my gosh. Well, let me pull that deck then. It's listening. When we're stuck in the mud, we're being listened to. So the things that we say to ourselves and to others, the things that we put out into the world, the things that we put into our vibratory field, when we're stuck in the mud, it's heard. And so this is why this is that thing where it's about this is where it's about holding on to the expectation regardless of what the physical circumstances and situations and regardless of what the environment is, to continue to see beyond and to not allow the mud to like take our view down, to like shrink it back. And under listening is, again, it's the card of movement. And then eventually, like when we can master that, like being stuck in the mud, but not having that stuck in the mud mentality, that's when things become wide open. That's when we actually clear the mud. No mud, no lotus, and the jewel is in the lotus. So no mud, no jewel. But to get the jewel, you got to get the lotus. We can't just go digging in the mud for jewels. I mean, you can. We can do whatever we want. We have free will. Hey, Twitty. Oh, money. Pardon me. Oh. And then the mud card come out. Wait. I told y'all. No mud, no lotus, and the jewel is in the mud. I don't know. I know like nothing. Nothing about Kuan Yin. I know next to nothing about Kuan Yin. But I don't know. Sometimes I can feel, especially in the Osho Zen Tarot in the maturity card, especially the maturity card. But I'm like, this feels like a Kuan Yin type of energy. What? But I don't know like anything about Kuan Yin to be like, you know what I mean? I don't know anything about anything to be like, oh, I'm just like, oh, this is the energy of, yeah, yep, Twitty, Kuan Yin. Ooh. But I'm gonna pull these because the elephant is listening. So, Lord Ganesha. I almost wish I had more. I'll take that back. I was gonna say I almost wish I had more decks that connect to like deities, but I don't. I honestly don't. I don't need that energy. I don't need it. It's above me. It's beyond me. That's when I say it feels like it's here, but I don't know. Oh. Money, pardon me. Wait. Ooh, I'm excited for that. They had a Kali one, and my bestie, she got it, but I didn't get it. Kali Ma, it's an energy that I have a respect for. I'm gonna say that I got a lot of respect for a Kali Ma. Would not necessarily go like seeking her energy out, but it has found me at points. It was actually I talked about it before, but one day because I'm talking about this. So holding on to the expectation regardless of what the path there looks like is one of the ways that I've personally, interestingly, in one way or another, in a blurred lines area, have found myself experiencing progression and movement by allowing things to play out the way they're going to play out. There's no control, it's just hope. But in a hope grounded in that, it magnetizes it. Or it's almost like when things happen, they're threads. And it's like it gives those threads a tie off point. When things happen, they're different paths, but it gives the paths a destination rather than them just like going out infinitum, right? We can wander forever. Even as small as the earth is in comparison to the universe, we can wander the earth forever. We can wander our house forever. Like when you walk to the refrigerator and ain't nothing there, and then you go back to where you were, and then you get hungry, so you walk back to the refrigerator even though you know nothing is there. And you're like, man, what? Still nothing? Yeah, still nothing. We can wander, but it gives us a destination. But anyway, so something was happening in my observable reality. And I was like, you know what? If Gaia wants us gone, girl, go ahead and do it. I don't know if there is any redemption for humanity, honestly. And I was reaching that point, and then I had a dream, and I heard like Kalima more clear than I've ever like heard it. Like I've seen her, like the image of her in dreams before, but like I heard her in a dream, and I was freaking out because I'm like, what? I've never heard of this clear before. Oh my gosh, what's happening? But basically, in the dream, she was like, if I were to come now, as I am known, there would be no tomorrow. It was either like, if I come, there will be no tomorrow, or it was like, if I come today, what'll happen tomorrow? And then that's when I got up and I went on the walk and I saw the two little dogs. Well, first, it was like, allow the world to be rewritten. And then that's when I went on Mimi's live and I was like, because she was like, does anyone have any questions? I was like, yeah, girl, if you want to break this down for me, thanks. But that's when I heard allow the world to be rewritten. And then I saw the two dogs. And instead of me like freaking out, I was just like, just letting it play out. And it's in the same vein of this, like flying over the hedge maze, but in the beauty way, it's like a path and a practice. So it's like above it, but also in it. And so maybe this goes back to the balancing act, where it's not for us to be completely detached from it, but it's not for us to become so engrossed in it that we don't see anything else, that we can't see beyond our circumstances, that we can't see beyond present conditions. Woo! Okay. Alana Fairchild, oof. Wait. Has a beautiful Quinine Oracle. Yeah, my friend has a Quinine Oracle. That you have the Kali one? Whoa. You have the Goddess Kali deck too? Wait. So Eve. I might be asking you for another personal. I'm just playing. Ow. Neville Goddard keeps nudging your consciousness. He's like Loa, except there's an idea of everything exists. Just choose the version of it that suits you, not what you think you have to accept. You don't make it be, you let it be. I like that. I feel like there's a calmness to that where things just kind of sort of flow in to being. But yeah, she was basically like, chill the F out, bro. She was like, you're supposed to be holding on to hope and faith for humanity. Like, if you give up as soon as you see anything, then certainly you will be doomed. And I was like, you know what? But when that, like, I woke up and I told my friend about the dream, and she has the Kali Oracle deck, and I've talked to her about Kali Ma before, and I was like, "What does this?" I was just like, "What does it mean?" Well, I told her about it, and she's like, "You want me to pull you some cards?" And I was like, "I mean, if you want to." And after all of it, like when she told me, I understood, but it feels like a part of me that I've never held before, or it feels like a part of me I've never anchored before. Like I feel like I'd be really quick to just be like, you know what, this isn't gonna work. Just wipe the board. We'll start all over, and if we can't start all over, nothing is better than this. And it's like, okay, you can't be so quick to pull out your energy. Like, stick with it. Nothing happens overnight, and nothing happens when we're like quick to just abandon and detach from everything. It's like an umbilical cord, right? It's like the other side of the sacral, where we nourish, or the other side of the solar plexus, where we nourish something else, and in where we nourish something else, and in turn are nourished by it. Then that's what creates the bond. It's what creates the link. That it's so funny because it's like when somebody likes you, when someone considers you a friend, then they're more willing to inconvenience themselves to make you happy. And I'm not saying it's the same. I say it's funny because I literally, like, I had that conversation before I left work. Somebody was like, I'm going to make them my friend. So when I ask them to do stuff, they'll say yes. I love her. I had a feeling when she interviewed that I would like her. And I do. Nobody ever wants a dark reading. I mean, there's something for everyone, I'm sure. Oh, the In the Dark series. I can't even remember mine. Because I feel like one of the ones I watched, it was like in the Dark series. I can't remember if it was Pisces or Taurus. But I was like, oh, this doesn't seem too dark. I can get down with this. There we go. Oh, I love this. It's the Promise of the Future. Promise of the Future is at the bottom of the deck, and behind Promise of the Future is Courage, which I love because stereotypically, I don't know if it's real life or if it's just cartoons, elephants are afraid of rats. They're afraid of mice. But in the Promise of the Future card, he stands next to the mouse. And then here's the courage again, sort of being the energy of facing your fears. And because you have the courage to face it, you're permitted, you're allowed to see beyond with the energy of the white lion, which isn't the white tiger that's the high priestess, but it is the courage and the strength to enter those unforeseen, misty realms that the high priestess can see. But this is us doing what we need to do to clean up that mirror. It reminds me of the Magician in the Mirror card and the Energy Oracle cards. Love that energy. Promise of the future and courage. Again, with stuck in the mud, listening, movement, stuck in the mud, listening, movement, leading into wide open. Where we were stuck in the mud before, then things are going to be wide open. It's the courage to face the future. To not only face the future, but it's the courage to find ourselves on a path that leads us to the future. It's the courage to walk the path that leads to the future, even when reality says it won't be so. And we don't have to abandon our reality in order to make it so. The shift just happens. Yeah, that sounds familiar. Give chance a chance. I was like, my whole life is chance. I failed a whole semester because of chance. When I asked Siri if I should roll over and go back to sleep or go to class, Siri always told me to go to sleep. But I think Siri knew what I wanted. I think Siri knew what I was going to do. And if Siri didn't know, then it was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to class. Or it's like, I'll roll over and then 10 seconds later be like, okay, I'm going to class today. Om Mani Padme Om. Let me type this before I type it there. Om Mani Padme Hum. Is it Padme Om or Padme Hum? Om Mani Padme Hum. Padme Om. The lotus and the flower. See? Oof, okay. Yeah, it's hum. Oh, Mani Padme hum. You need to set your alarm, but Mani Padme hum. Yeah, that's what they say too, Melissa. I ain't know. Oh my gosh, wow. If this isn't literally self honoring choices, if this isn't literally because we honor you, because you honor you, we honor you. Well, maybe not literally. Oh, so y'all remember the little mouse from the Promise of the Future card? We have cultivation and decision. Cultivation and decision are the two cards that fell out. And you can see the mouse there in cultivation. So again, it's the energy of like deciding to invest, deciding to build, deciding to nurture when it would make more sense to just abandon it and start all over. But the promise of the future is there. The mouse is like, one day we're going to be standing on this and we're going to be looking at everything. And we have to decide if that's a future that we're willing to fight for, but not to fight in any way outside of ourselves, but to fight in a way of being strong and persevering. And again, it's like promise of the future and courage. Under the courage card, under courage is achievement. Promise of the future, courage, and achievement. Achievement. If we make the decisions to cultivate that, it will grow. It has to. It has no choice but to grow. Right? Like if your baby is connected to you through your umbilical cord, Whatever you put into you is gonna go into the baby. It's not like you can be like, okay, like this can go to the baby, but this can't. Like send this to the baby, but I want to eat this for me. Baby doesn't get any of this. I just want to eat this for me because I've been pregnant for 8 months and I miss it. So sorry, baby, that mommy needs to do this for mommy. And it's like, no, everything flows through. And it's that connection, that mutual whatever, that actually gives us the power to change and to move and to make and to let be. Take it as it resonates. What? You have a phone interview at 9. Oh, all the best, Melissa. Whoop, whoop, whoop. You got this. How Joe the Bear and Sam the Mouse got together. What? Oh, that's cute. Little Twitty. It reminds me of the Lion and the Mouse. When the lion got the thorn in its paw, and when the lion got captured in the net and the mouse chewed through the net and the mouse pulled out the thorn in the lion's paw. Oh my gosh, look. And it's almost like when we're stuck in the mud, we think that spirit isn't listening. We think no one is listening. We think no one can hear us, no one can see us. But in the listening card, like literally, we see the bird with the elephant. The bird is like, bro, like I'm literally right here with you. I'm not not necessarily going to take you out of the mud, but I'm here. And it's like, okay, well, if you aren't going to help me, like, what's the point of you being here? Like, if you're not going to get me out of the mud, why are you here? And it's like, oh, girl, calm down. That's when we curse spirit and we're rebellious. And we're like, I don't know. A lot of us have been there at some point or another. Okay. I love that Lord Ganesha and the whispers of Lord Ganesha is just like, yeah, make the choices and decisions to get where you're going. Make the investment, do the hard work, and eventually you'll get there. But, with the countenance of an elephant, I guess you could see patience and cultivation and putting in the time, putting in the TLC as part of the message. It reminds me of, I think it's Ananiel in the Year 2 Angelarium, but it's the second one. The one where it's like the vision of hope beyond the horizon. Or maybe that's Duma, Angel of Dreams. There are like two of them that say that though. Baba, black sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full. Yeah. And personally, like I like the feeling of figuring stuff out myself. But sometimes I'm also like, you could literally just like do this for me and I would still appreciate it. And then maybe like, yeah, but like if we did this for you, we would have to keep doing this for you. And if we did this for you for your entire like life and all of your remaining lives, then you would never grow. Imagine when you can do it for yourself. And that's the thing about the hunter, the arrow, and the council. It doesn't have the same flexibility as Earthkeeper, Flow, and the Beauty Way. Because in Earthkeeper, Flow, and the Beauty Way, it's like we get to decide at any moment like where we want to go. We can change our minds and not like have to do something and then wait for that manifestation to come. It becomes a lot more real time. And in the moment, it's like, you know what? Like that's good, but I think I want better. And it's not wanting better in any way that isn't grateful and that isn't appreciative. That like you can hold gratitude and still desire more. Like they're not mutually exclusive. 4:44 there. What time is it here? It is 6:45 here. I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy now. I hope you're proud how you would grovel in submission to feed your own ambition. That's what it was. I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy too. I hope you're proud. No, wait. I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy now. I hope you're happy how you hurt your cause forever. I hope you think you're clever. Although I can't imagine how. I hope you're happy right now. Do. Glenda said, "No, girl, I am not flying. I will not do it." Alphabet was like, "Together we could do anything, Glenda. We could be happy." And Glenda was like, "No, the wizard can make us happy." Wait, what did you post, Twitty? You get the spirit giggles a lot. You can still be with the wizard. What you worked and waited for. Ganesha symbolizes overcoming obstacles and achieving by persistence. Exactly. It's exactly that, Melissa. I think sometimes it's interesting because he can be associated with overcoming obstacles, but he'll also set obstacles that we can't overcome if we need to be like rerouted. And both sort of serve the same purpose. It's like they have opposite functionalities, or they may play out in different ways, but ultimately it's with the same goal in mind to get us along our way. And maybe that's the part where it's like, if we're open to that flow, we can recognize when what it is that we wanted and desired no longer aligns with the person that we've become. And then we don't need that obstacle to be there where we never get it, but we're continuously trying. Almost dropped that card. Positive outlook. Okay. And the bottom of the deck is protection. The positive outlook is the protection. It's like if you have an optimist and a pessimist, then the pessimist will give up or claim that it's futile as soon as anything goes wrong. But the optimist will continue looking, will continue searching, will continue fighting until they get that positive outcome. And it's not even necessarily that one is more powerful than the other, even though, thoughts becoming things is a reality, or at least an aspect of reality. It's also that another one just invests more. The other gives more, the other searches more, searches harder until they find what it is that they need. They don't give up as soon as it gets difficult. And that's the power of the positive outlook. It in itself, it's protection. And if your outlook is positive enough, then it almost does. That's what takes us out of the hedge maze. Either positive outlook or the courage to just do it anyway. Right. And that was the thing that before Scorpio season gave us. It was like, even if the situation seemed futile, or even if you were afraid, even if you were nervous, you did it anyway. And because you did it anyway, there was a piece of the self that was found. There was a piece of the self that was reignited. And as we bring that piece of ourselves to more and more aspects and areas of our lives, we'll find it improve overall. We'll find improvements in all of those spaces because we hold presence in a way that we didn't before. And the power of presence is the umbilical cord. It's that mutual solar plexus sort of energy to nurture and be nurtured. You ate overpriced mahi on Laguna Beach. What? You used to go to SoCal for work sometimes. Raised hands for overpriced mahi on Laguna Beach, even though I don't like fish. But I love that for you, if you love it. Oh, ergo. Persistence. Exactly. And maybe this is about, and that way it's like it's realizing that even when you're stuck in the mud, you're still getting to where you're going. The path through the mud is the answer. You were listened to. And it's not be careful what you wish for. It's just that, like, when we make a request, we don't know how it's going to come to us. We don't know how it's going to come about or what it's going to look like, which is why it's like it's important to be open to receiving, but to also hold the expectation of the fulfillment of the thing. And that's the balancing act between the holding and the release. And maybe that's flying because you don't want to fly so high that you go into the sun, and you don't want to be so grounded that you're like at the core of the earth. It's an in between. My cup is annoyingly half full for some people. I love optimistic people. I love bubbly people. And I know some people like, oh, I can't stand, like, why are they always so happy? I love people like that. I do. He was like, it's for vacationing, not for living. But hey, maybe one day it'll be affordable. What isn't affordable today may very well so be affordable within the space of literally seconds sometimes. I did hear that like a lot of people are leaving California now and going into, some people at least are leaving California and going into Las Vegas. So the price of living in Las Vegas and around the area is starting to go up because Californians are moving. Heard that. I hope you're proud how you would grovel in submission to feed your own ambition. Although I can't imagine how. You're also an early bird. What? That makes sense. Your name is Twitty. Oh, you're a night owl. I was gonna say, aren't all birds early birds? But um, owls do exist. So, and owls are birds, and they're definitely nocturnal. So, I can be a night owl and an early bird, but when I'm both, I don't get much sleep, and I end up in situations like I'm in now, which is exhausted. I used to live in a permanent state of exhaustion, and I'm older now. I'm not in college anymore. I can't do it. I can't do it. They're coming to Texas too. Awesome. Everybody's going to Texas though. Like within the past 6 years, I've heard like there are so many opportunities in Texas, especially like in the engineering fields and stuff like that. So many opportunities in Texas. I was like, I hope I don't have to go to Texas. Please let me find good work outside of Texas because I don't want to go. Texas is like hot, and I've heard the bugs are huge. I'm like, I don't want to be hot. I don't want to be wrestling ants up to my knees and grasshoppers up to my elbows. Like, I'm good. I pass. You're on sabbatical. Oof. I would love a sabbatical. What? Wish you well. Wish you well. We got the wishing well, number 48. And the bottom of the deck is flying again. Mm. Bugs in Hawaii are wild. Oof. No, 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 no. I am so bad with bugs. I am I'm terrible. The only way I can remotely keep my calm is if I'm in a public situation. Like when I'm in public, my freak out is like minimized. There's just something within me that knows like how to conduct myself in public. But in private, I'd be like, oh my gosh, somebody come take care of this for me, please. That's why whoever I marry, whoever I end up with, if I end up with somebody, they gotta handle the bugs. I'm like, I'm not doing it. You gotta do it. And if you catch and release, you're gonna have to do it without me. I prefer a catch and release now where I am in my life. And it's like, oof. Please don't have me out here doing it by myself, but maybe I need to mature in that way. So you grew up in Florida. The roaches are an inch long and they fly. You won't scare me? Ooh, Melissa. Oof. One time I was in the bathroom at school and the roaches are like infamous. Thankfully, my eyes were bad enough. I've rarely seen. One day, I was working at the front desk. I'm working at the front desk on my shift, and some girl comes up. She's like, "Oh, I was studying in one of the activity rooms, and I saw a roach." I was like, "Okay." And she was like, "I brought it." She put the roach in a plastic bag and brought it to me at the front desk, and I'm just like, why? What am I supposed to do with a roach in a bag, girl? Throw it away. Like, I don't know. I'm like, what did she expect me to do? What was I expected to do in that situation? I was so confused. But one day, you're the bug person? Okay, Twitty. I am not the bug person. But one day I was in the bathroom. I was just washing my hands, minding my business. And I look in the mirror. In the mirror, I look down and I'm like, and it was huge. And then I looked down in real life. It was literally right in front of me. And I was just like, what? I hurried up and I got out of there. I got out of there. You have problems with wasps and ants. Okay. Oof. Wasps and bees have been like nesting around the house. But I guess because they nest here, they're not super aggressive here. But still, they'd be like, what you doing? I'm like, I live here. Hello? Can you leave me alone, please? Because I'm not trying to swat. I'm not trying to swat, but you in my space. Yellow jackets are a-holes. Oof. Yeah, I've heard. Oh, wow. So number 44 came out, The Sacrifice. And at the bottom of the deck is the Sweat Lodge. So there is an energy, it's an energy of releasing, but it's a release. It feels like it's like it's a natural reaction to environmental factors. And maybe this is a twist in the path or a twist in the road. And it's like because I'm going somewhere else now, there are things that I need to do differently. And so maybe what we sacrifice is a routine, or we sacrifice an expectation of something being what it was before. Oh, it's like we sacrifice the outcome of present situations and circumstances and we insert our own outcome. It's like we put a different destination on the path. So even if it plays out some of the same way, if we hold on to our destination, then we'll find that it's like as things move along, more and more things like they're stripped of those things. And it works out more and more in the way that we would wish it to be. And that's the outcome or the expectation of the outcome that we sacrifice. Things ending the way that they've always ended. Now, apply it where it applies, right? If a situation isn't going to change, then don't apply it there. Like the beauty way said, like if it's like something broken, then sort of like let it be. And if it mends itself, then that will happen. But it's not for us to continue to cut ourselves trying to piece together broken glasses. Magic is under the sweat lodge. And I don't know if that's because of the toxins that we sweat out. And they can be toxic beliefs on ourselves, again, like going back to those self honoring choices. Because again, it's that energy of like when you're stuck in the mud, the world is still listening. You don't get to decide in those moments, okay, baby, like you're not going to get this. This is for mommy and mommy only. It's like it doesn't work that way. And that's listened to, that is heard, and it's affirmed. And it's not to be so anal about what we say and what we believe that we never actually take the time to work through our beliefs to the point where it's like, even if we don't say it, the feelings that they arise from are still within us. And that is also heard. That also elicits a response. They don't know. What? Do you have like bee spray or wasp spray or something? That's the thing about wasps, though. Instead of bees, right? They can sting multiple times. If a bee stings you, it's sacrificing its life. A wasp is like, this is nothing. This is just another Tuesday for me. Wasp is like, I can do this all day and night. And you're like, please, I'm just trying to maintain the yard. Oh, what? Unless you accidentally eat an ant. Oh my gosh. You have to hold the door for him, though. I'm like, please leave. Red wasps more than yellow jackets. I don't know nothing about a red one. I don't know nothing about the red ones. Hmm. Your neighbor mows your grass. So my kids got a lot of mashed potatoes in utero. I love mashed potatoes. I want mashed potatoes now. I've gotten to the point where I don't even eat gravy. I'll just eat the potatoes. Full bee netting, head to toe. I was in Menards. I think I was in Menards, and they have bee houses. I was like, what? Bee houses? Who's out here being a backyard apiaryist? Who got build your own apiary? I'm like, what? Bee houses. I was like, a bee house to put outside. Now, if we can put the bee house in the corner of the yard that like nobody ever goes to, so they're not around the doors and stuff, that's one thing. But I don't. Our yard ain't big enough for that. I was blown away, blown away. I would assume so, but like to just have them in Menards, I'm like, how many people are out here like making bee houses to get their own honey? Yeah, they are. Speaking of, I got some potatoes I need to eat. I keep buying bags of microwavable potatoes from the Little Potato Company and not eating them before they go bad. I need to stop doing that. but I'll probably make them tomorrow. All right, so that's what I got. That is what I have. More open and wider than you'd ever even imagine. It's like the wolf said. Oh, what did he say? I don't know. It's when Little Red Riding Hood was going through the forest, and she was like, "My mama said, don't stray from the path. Go right to Granny's." And the wolf was like, "Well, look at all the flowers off the path." Now, like, there are no wolves in this story, but maybe sometimes we think there are. It's just like, there's a lot of beautiful things off the path. Some of it may end painfully, all of it has the ability to get us where we're going. It's our expectation of how things play out that influence what happens when we're stuck in the mud. Because sometimes it's like a mental mud, but we're not really in it. We just don't know. We don't know. We have limited foresight and limited sight. And it's sometimes the things that have the most difficult of beginnings have the most beautiful of endings somehow. So you're getting hungry for mashed potatoes for some reason. Okay. Now I'm going to be hungry for mashed potatoes. Oh, yeah. Because I know they say that bees are dying, or I haven't heard it recently, but they said that bees were dying, and bees are like one of the biggest pollinators of a lot of stuff. And they're like, well, if we ain't got no bees, not only are we going to lose honey, we're also going to lose everything that the bees pollinate. So I can see that. No problem, Twitty. Mashed potato magic. You love hearing bees in the spring? It's just like when they fly too close, that sound like it runs through me. Like I try to be strong and not swat. I'm like, okay, you chill, I'm chill. Oh, you coming by? That's fine. Just keep going, please. But then it's like it gets loud or whatever. I'm like, oh, please go away. I just come in the house. I sit on the porch until the bees start buzzing around and like, okay, y'all can have it. Y'all can have all of outside. I'm going inside and please don't bother me. You can have the porch. The porch is yours. But anyway, I hope you all have a good whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. Again, I hope that you're acting in alignment, emphasis on acting, emphasis on alignment, to make all that you wish to experience, emphasis on experience, your reality, emphasis on reality. And whatever you need along your path, journey, and way to get there, I hope you find. And I hope you are of mind to find it. Because sometimes we find it before we're ready, or we find it in a way that's hard to initially and or immediately recognize. So I wish you the courage and the patience to see it as well. You used to keep bees. What? Really? I guess you can just like put a little house outside, right? You don't have to be licensed. I was gonna say, like, do you have to have a beekeeping license or something? I don't know. I'm just like, oof. But I think like bees are one of those like surprisingly docile sort of creatures. And they only get, maybe it's because when they sting, they die, that they sting with a sort of scrupulousness. Is that the word I want? Hey Siri, define scrupulous.
Scrupulous means of a person or process diligent, thorough, and extremely attentive to details.
Okay. Very concerned to avoid doing wrong. Yeah. So because I've heard unscrupulous infinitely more than I've heard the word scrupulous. It's almost like what's the word where it's only like it's not regardless, but there was a word where it's like, what was there even this other word, or is it just the this? Anyway, discernment. There you go. It's like a discernment. It's a knowing. And so it's like, if you're not doing anything to me, I'm not going to do anything to you. But it's because of how we react to bees and because of how bees react to us reacting to bees that we get an image of the bee as like dangerous and aggressive and like beware of the bee. But if you let the bee be, you'll realize how like chill they are. And then they'll pollinate your garden for you. There's like less work that you have to do to maintain your landscape. They do it for you. It works for them. I also read that with the apiaries that keep bees, it's like they make more honey than they can actually like hold or maintain. So it's actually healthy for the colony to like take some of the honey that they can't eat or to like move them from one thing to another because of whatever. And I don't know if there are things within the honey that once it becomes too much, it starts to basically spoil. But that's also why they say that you shouldn't give honey to newborn babies because, like, honey contains things like raw honey, and babies don't have the immune system to not be affected by what's in the honey. Anyway, that's what the people at school said. What's the truth? I don't know. Am I going to keep a bee to find out? Maybe someday, not today. Not today. A bee won't sting you if she has a choice. It's forever. Yeah. Scruples. That's funny, Twitty. You had the regular setup box hive with supers that you can extract honey from. When your kids were little, you used to tell them they're more afraid of you than you of them. So they'd run around the yard singing "Boo-bee." That's hilarious, Holly. Oh, Twitty, you're funny. I see it. Botulin. Oh, honey contains botulin. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. Is that how they fly? I know I hear all the time that like bumblebees like are an aerodynamic enigma. Like they should not be able to fly, but they fly. And like you hear that spider silk is one of the strongest materials for what it is. And like they can't even replicate it. I was like, wow. Look at nature just doing and being things that even we as humanity still can't understand. Okay. All right. Thank you all for being here. It ended up being like something. I was like, okay. Because at first I was like, when the hunter, the council, and the arrow came out, I was like, what the freak is this? But it makes sense. So, everything that I already said and more. And I will catch you all in the next one. Bye.